Welcome to Helpful Hints for Chapter 1, Introduction to ICD-10 CM Coding. You should feel pretty confident navigating around the ICD-10 CM codebook after your 1274 intro course, but there are a few pain points here in Chapter 1 that students often struggle with, so I wanted to make sure we touched base on these because they are foundational to the entire semester. Placeholder X. The character X is used in CM codes as a placeholder or filler character within a code. The use of this placeholder character allows for future expansion within the code book. As we know, codes get added or edited every year. These code books are edited every year. So let's take a look at an example from your handbook. The child presents to the emergency room with a bean in his right ear, so he's sad. Let's start in the alphabetic index with the main term of foreign body. The bean is considered a foreign body, something that should not be in the body, but somehow it ended up there. So with the main term, foreign body, and then we find a subterm as we scroll through our codebook pages, entering through an orifice. An orifice is just an opening to the body, in this case the ear. And then one more indentation level here. Under entering through orifice, we go in one more indentation level to the ear. Remember to let these shaded columns, by the way, within the codebook help you with your indentation levels. But here we find the code, foreign body, entering through orifice, ear, T16, listed with a check mark to remind us that additional character is required in the tabular list. So let's go ahead and look at the tabular list for this code. Here in the tabular list at code T16, we see this red box, check mark 4th. This is reminding us that T16 alone, these three characters, this is not a valid code. We need to add a 4th character to make the code valid. So looking underneath T16, we look and find options such as the 4th character 1 for the right ear or 4th character 2 for the left ear. We know that our documentation mentioned the right ear. So T16.1, sorry, it's difficult to write on the screen and talk at the same time. But T16.1 for the right ear is our best bet. But wait, hold on a second. Next to the code, we have the blue box, check mark X7th. This is letting us know that T16.1 is also not a valid code. Just like T16 was not valid, T16.1 also is not valid. We need to add a 7th character, and the X is telling us, hey, you're going to need a placeholder too. In the pink box within this category T16, we have a note. The appropriate 7th character is to be added from each code from category T16. Remember, the first 3 characters of a code is considered the category. So any T16 code needs to have that 7th character added. And within this box, we have A as a 7th character for initial encounter, D for subsequent encounter, and S for sequela or late effect. Now, since the documentation did not state that this patient encounter was a subsequent or follow-up visit, nor did it specify a late effect, then this initial encounter is going to be our best bet. But the A needs to be in the 7th character position. So if we just tack an A on at the end here, this is not going to be correct because it's in the 5th position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is also an invalid code. This is where those placeholders come into play. T16.1, we're at 4 characters, 5, 6, and then A is the 7th character. So the final code for this bean in the right ear is T16.1XXA. Another topic in Chapter 1 is that of connecting words. These words or terms are used to express a relationship, either between a main term and a subterm, or a subterm and a sub-subterm. A sub-subterm just means it's indented under a subterm. But the two connecting words I really want to draw your attention to are with and without. Subterms preceded by with or without are not listed in alphabetic order in the alphabetic index. They instead appear immediately below the main term or any appropriate subterm. So here's a good example with appendicitis. Note that even though that with begins with W, it is listed as a subterm before these A subterms, such as acute or amoebic. So from here on down, it's all in alphabetical order, but these with connecting words are usually found immediately underneath the main term or immediately under a subterm before it starts getting into the alphabetization. Thanks for joining me. Happy coding!